And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcastro and Joe Brett, the real estate guys, with you today. And thanks for joining us here on this last weekend of April of 2018. We've got lots in store for you today. We're both real estate brokers with John L. Scott in Southern Oregon, and we get together with you once a week here on KCMX to talk about all sorts of real estate-related issues and topics. And, of course, you can also contact us at peterjoe@realestateshoworegon.com. Today on the show, my goodness, I'm so excited because Alice Lema has been on our show many times before. She's a broker with John L. Scott. Nice to have you here.
Great to be back.
What's happening to you? Busy, or what's going on here in the end of April?
Our spring is just rocking. We have still a backlog of buyers. We are finally starting to get a few more listings out there. Word's getting out it's safe to sell again.
I think at our office meeting this week, I think they said that they had 40 new listings in the office this week, which was a record. So listings are definitely, Alice, coming back.
Finally catching up, and I think it's been a long time since we've had more listing than sales. Is that right? More
listing than sales. That's absolutely true. It's still the backlog is there in terms of needing more of those, but yes, it's really changed. And I think I did some stats this week and looked at the luxury market, what's out there, there's a lot of properties coming on the market. So a lot of activity, I think, and as we expected it would be, right? Yeah. That's really, really true. Well, here today on the show, we want to introduce Charlene Phelps, who's joined us. And Charlene, your first time with us, so thanks for coming down here today. And you're a decorator and a stager. First of all, how did you get involved with that kind of line of business? Tell us a bit. You got to talk right into that thing, sweetie.
Kind of got me into staging back in the day.
Put that right in front of you. I know.
Is that okay?
There you go. Okay, that's all right. I got to get you here.
Sure,
okay.
no
I got to be able to hear you, sweetie. That's okay.
And so I really encouraged him to get into real estate back in the day, and he encouraged me to get into staging. So I staged one of his first houses and did really well, and just stuck with it. I've been involved for about 18 years now.
Wow.
Staging houses. So.
I would think that a lot has changed in the way we decorate, the way the products that are out there. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I can think of everything's different from 18 years ago in terms of that, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You have one chance to make a first impression on a house when you have it up for sale. So it's extremely important, and Alice knows it's important because I've staged a couple houses for you, and
yeah.
It makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah, you got to talk right into that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because your voice doesn't carry as much as Joe and I or Alice. We're brokers, so we yell a lot, Charlene. And so we carry a lot of that. So the staging business, are you busy? Tell me what's going on with that part of the business.
I'm very busy right now. I have realtors that use me because they know it works, and I go in and help the houses. Before it goes on the market, I usually go in and do consultations with sellers and walk through and help them get their house ready with a new set of eyes because people get used to seeing things the way they are.
Yeah.
And I look at it through a buyer's set of eyes.
Interesting that you got started because your brother got started in real estate, and you had to have some acumen coming into that, but you started in like a realtor. There's lots to learn. The game's always changing and getting new all the time. So interesting. You've put 18 years together now. You've obviously learned well and done things right and got good results.
I've had pretty good results. Yes, very good results.
Alice, when you go in and talk to people and you start sitting down with clients, and I think it's maybe easier for a lady to bring up the subject of decorating or what's your house is like
and decluttering, and it's easier to have somebody else say it. Let me have Charlene call you, and she can help you figure out what needs to stay, what needs to go, how it needs to look.
Because you see it when you walk in and you see somebody, and you know immediately if there's some help that needs to be helped, right?
Yes, and it really is an art, and Charlene has a great eye. Great eye for color, great eye for organizing and composition, and she's just sweet as pie with all the people.
Now, I would think it'd be a little bit different when you go into this. Let's start off with, say, new constructions, because we have a lot of, last week, Brad Bennington was here, all the new construction that's going on throughout the two counties and everything. And I suppose that your assistance or your help would be pretty much needed at that point, because I have no idea where you would even begin with a new home construction in decorating it, putting it together. That's where you really come in to help, right?
Well, I can go in and help people with colors and light fixtures and just the layout, but mainly I'll come in and just when it's finished, come in and bring in product and
Oh,
furniture.
okay. Oh, okay.
And so there's lots of different ways we can go. If the house is so if somebody's living there, a lot of times I'll just walk through and we will, like Alice said, declutter and depersonalize the house to make it more attractive to the potential buyers.
Yeah, because new construction would be pretty easy because you're putting in new things, right?
It's an open canvas.
You just start from scratch.
It is. It's actually easier to stage a house that's empty.
It's empty. Yeah.
There's, and like Alice said, coming in, I can take the hot seat off of the realtor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think that's important.
So there's there's no tension there, and I can give them the bad news. You've got to get rid of the photos. You've got to.
So what's the biggest problem? You need to talk.
Thanks.
What's the biggest problem when you go into a house? You think and you visit with clients for the first time. I mean, you got to broach the subject of. You got too much junk. I don't know, not junk. You got too much stuff. You got
clutter. I think was the nice word we used.
I learned that from Charlene.
Is that where it starts? Is that the beginning of this world of having to do that first?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's right.
Most people have way too many items in their home, especially if they've lived there a long time.
Yeah.
They just don't know what to get rid of and what to keep. And so I usually tell people when they're getting ready to sell, what are you going to take to your new house?
Okay.
And a lot of it.
What do you take to the new house, your new place?
So a lot of things they are not wanting to take. So those are the things that you want to get rid of now.
Easily overboard.
That's when we call Lance Landers from Ionic estate sales, and you're going to do the estate sale with what's left, right?
Right.
So you go through again. You say, I'm going to be moving. So you go through there. What are we going to take first to the new place? What else do we do?
You want it to look like nobody's living there, which is really hard when you are living there.
Ah, okay.
So if you can kind of have that concept that, you want to make it look like that somebody else could be living here and not the current owners.
So I want to live there, but I want to make sure, when I show it, nobody's living there. Yeah,
like
that's
a hotel.
true, isn't
nothing
it?
personal out.
No
toothbrushes out. Nothing, of anything that's personal to you, because you need to attract a lot of different buyers.
Now, when people say, I've had clients say, "Well, my house is so decorated so beautifully. I've got all these things here," and I always say to people, when I bring a buyer in, they're not really looking at your stuff. They want to see their own things in here. And so I did that in my own house. I took everything off the walls. Again, I'm listening to Alice tell me all these things.
Well, you don't want them to look at your stuff. You want them to look at the house.
That's the difference. And that's what you're saying. And I agree with that. And I had a listing in Central Point. And it's like one of those coming to Jesus moments. You know what you have. I had a listing there, and it was so beautiful. And everybody who came in there just raved about how beautiful this place was. And the people lived there. They lived there. But you would never know it by how beautiful they had it staged, and they were living there at the time. Okay. So that does work.
It does.
People loved it. I really have to say that, right?
And there are people like me who would think, no, that little home sweet home border up there, that's what makes this room with the yellow paint and the brown sponge spots on it. But I might be wrong. That's why I need professional help. Is always a good idea, because it's not what your impression of the property could be or was or has been for as long as you've owned it. It's what the new people can see its potential in.
Yeah. Well, I even told at my house, I even realized that once I got it staged as best I could and all these things, was that it's not my house anymore. I'm really doing this for the new owners. Whoever's going to buy it, I'm a caretaker right now.
That's a great way to. That's a great way to look at
it. It kind of helps your mind a little bit easier to the separation that you have to go through when you're in a place. So what else is out there that people should think about when they're getting ready to do this? Stuff off walls, declutter. You don't want. What other things?
And I think one of the things that Charlene does so well is define spaces. And whether you're living in the house or it's new construction, especially the open floor plans, buyers need help visualizing where their living lifestyle events, their family time, their private time is going to be in a house.
How do you do that? I don't see. That's when it gets into a space. I don't know what space means. Okay.
That's why. You go in and you just.
There you go. It's all right.
You go in and you have to define spaces for the buyer, so they know that, hey, this is an office, this is a living room, this is a great room, this is a media room, or whatever you want it to be. You stage it accordingly, because 10% of people can only visualize of what it could be. And when a house is staged, it also feels bigger. So
it feels
people
bigger,
think, okay, I'm going to empty out the whole house and I'm going to put it on the market. But actually, that's not a good idea, because when you have items in the house, it's going to feel bigger, it's going to look better, it's going to feel warm. Also, empty houses look like desperate houses. You're
good
going
point.
I've always heard, I've heard
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
And so you're going to probably get a low ball offer because people think, oh, this person needs to sell. And so another thing about an empty house is your eye is drawn to any imperfections, maybe in the wall,
that's a
the
good idea
carpet,
too, yeah.
anywhere. Whereas when
that's
it's
true.
staged, your eye is looking at the beauty and
Maybe covered something up and I don't see it too.
well,
but,
yeah, I'm not into covering
No,
up
I know,
problems,
yeah.
but it's not the first thing you see.
Yeah, but you are right
So-
about the vacant properties. You come in and you look, you see the imperfections because of that. That's very true. You have to have when you stage, I've been in staged homes, and Alice and I've been on, we've been on realtor tours and been in a lot of staged homes. I see different variations or different levels of staging. Some look really beautiful, right?
Some are quite elaborate, especially in the luxury markets.
Some have maybe too much stuff. So
It's all about budget.
Oh,
what the budget is for staging,
and what goes into it.
And
then
what goes into it.
So would
yes.
you come and say to me if I have I'm moving out, I'm going to be empty, what you would bring in and things like that.
Right.
So you have all this available
I would do
to you, right?
a proposal of to stage somebody's house.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't want that much staging, so
Okay.
we'll just do the basic rooms. Like, for
Right.
sure, the rooms that you see when you first walk in, like the living room, the kitchen,
Okay.
the important rooms. So if that's all their budget allows, then that's what we'll do.
Okay.
It's better than nothing.
It's better
So,
than being vacant,
it's better
even if you
than being
put a
vacant.
few things in.
Exactly.
You agree
yes.
with that? You
and
like that?
have lights
Do you think it
going.
makes a difference, Alice?
I do.
Will it sell faster? Do you think, is there proof
10%.
of that? Really? What do you think?
10% faster from
10%?
I'm sorry, it's more than that.
Okay.
I'm going to get.
It-
Your house will sell let's see.
Faster, we
It will
know.
faster for sure. It
think that's
usually
true.
sells 40% faster.
Interesting.
Wow.
If it's
With
staged.
it staged.
With it staged.
That's high.
Well,
So-
that's really
that's-
that should give everybody pause to think about that as you go, right?
Especially folks that are looking to move, to get into their new place and want to get it done and get on the market and get the business done.
And I think the part people don't realize is, as Charlene mentioned, most people are not spatial or abstract. And that's not a flaw. It's just most people are linear
don't
and they
think about
can't
that.
visualize. So helping them by putting a little bistro table or putting the bed over there or a game table in a space helps them to see what they
All
can
right.
be doing in
Hey, we've
space.
got a break coming up here. We're going to come back. We're with Charlene Phelps and Alice Lema talking about decorating and staging homes in the real estate show. We're coming right back to KCMX right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate Show here on KCMX here this weekend, the last weekend of April. Pete and Joe, the real estate guys, with you here, along with Alice Lema from John L. Scott and Charlene Phelps, who's an interior decorator and stager, who's joined us today, talking about a subject that, we're learning a lot about. And so far, the best thing I've heard is that if you do stage a home, the chance of selling it becomes better than if it's just going to be empty. And that's important. That's really important to know that, I think, as we go through this. So we'll go on to it. Okay, say I've come into we talked about empty homes when they're staging. What about when I'm living there? What should I do? Because a lot of us are still living in our homes. They're on the market. We got people coming through. What's the advice there, Charlene, for
Well,
it?
I'm really careful on spending somebody's money,
Okay.
but I know that whatever money you put into staging, you get it out. So because your house will sell faster and sooner, and all realtors love that. And I'm also trying to be their best friend by
Yeah.
making their house look beautiful. Usually realtors that go through houses that are staged enjoy showing houses that are staged. If they can get on fire and excited about a house, they will show it more, which means potential quicker sale.
More people coming
More
through.
people coming through, a bigger chance of an offer.
It's the same as, I suppose, Alice, if you're on the MLS and people are, of course, everybody, again, 98% of people start online. So you want to show pictures of a staged
Oh, and
place,
they look
or do you want to
amazing.
have different
Yeah.
versus an empty place?
Yeah, when you do
in terms
videos and
of that.
photographs, for sure, it just looks so much better.
And the opposite of that would be too much stuff. And we've seen lots of people who've taken photographs and have properties on the MLSs. And there's so much stuff around it you can't even see the rooms.
Exactly.
I was with a client, and I said we can't even take any pictures until it's empty, because there was so much. It's so full of items, and so you got to wait for that, right? Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, and a lot of sellers are uncomfortable with that because it's that giving up process. It's not your house anymore. But the whole point of this is to get the most money with the least amount of impact on the seller if they're still living there.
Yeah, well, that's true. And do people they get weird about this?
They can.
Over
can.
decluttering. I mean, some people don't want to. I mean, I've had them.
true.
It's fine. I'm living
Well,
here
I'd like
until I
Charlene
leave
to
here.
lead that discussion for me.
Yes.
We want to bring
Yes, I'll be
Charlene
in the
into that.
hospital.
They get offended.
Yes, they do. They can get offended by it because it's a personal thing.
Well, I think it's easier for someone like you to say that than it is for
Absolutely.
Alice or Joe or I to
Yes.
do that.
I don't want them to fire Alice or
No.
any realtor that comes in and wants
Not
to
over
sell
the
their house.
stuffed doggy
Yeah.
collection.
But what you're really doing is giving people a choice in that matter.
Right.
And so you bring it up to them and say, this is your option. If you're going to leave now. So we need to know from the sellers, okay, are you leaving now, right? If you're going to be vacant, then that's probably the time we really want to have a stager come in and see that. If I'm going to leave and it's going to be vacant, right?
Well,
That's what I would think.
yes, yeah, I can stage vacant houses. That's great. That's easy because I'm not having to worry about people living there and maybe moving things around and maybe fighting with me about it. And I won't really fight with people about it. If they,
No.
it's up to them. If
No.
they want to sell their house for more money, I'm all for it. I'm there to help them.
Yeah, you don't mind,
But
yeah.
but the people that do everything I suggest, they have great success. And I have this one house up on the hill that we went in and we took the time and staged it. We used a lot of her items. A lot of things we got rid of, but it went on the market, and the first day it went on the market, it sold.
Then in that
So-
case, it was probably priced right too. That
It
helps
was-
a lot, so we like that.
all of that
yeah,
helps.
all that helps. All
All
that
that
together.
helps.
That's pretty good.
But kind of bittersweet for all that wonderful work you did.
You got to get it out of
One
there.
day.
No, I am excited when
True.
that happens
Yeah.
because it works.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
they were excited.
Got the job done.
And-
Well, it's good to hear you say this because you obviously have experience in doing it, in staging and seeing the results, which are a faster sale for more money and quicker sale. So
I also
there's
think
something to that.
Sorry,
Oh, go
helps
ahead.
with unusual rooms or unusual properties. When you have houses that are too custom, some of our homes that are older, maybe built on a hill, maybe built in the 70s when floor plans were different. I think Charlene's ability to go in and help give fresh expression and more contemporary feeling to some of those older floor plans is just very, very valuable.
Man,
What?
should almost
So
have her
they-
come before the appraiser comes.
Well, I really should be the first person that comes in.
No, yeah.
Seriously, because a lot of times people
that can
will
make a
wait.
big difference, I think, in just the appraiser's eye on the property when they come to do their thing.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to
Couldn't
do
hurt,
that.
for
Well,
sure.
it never hurts. It never hurts.
I had a recent appraisal, and my house didn't present very well.
Well,
that's why
you weren't staged very well either,
no,
weren't you?
and I didn't have a
know
lot
that.
of time to put a lot into it. So I accepted the appraisal, but I could have done better for sure. Would have done better.
Well, there's always a reason, that those happen. Do you have your own stuff? I mean, do you have like a warehouse full of things that you come and pull out, or how do you get the
I
stuff
do
that goes
have,
into it?
a lot of items, but I also purchase new items for the home, depending on what I need for the home. So all homes dictate what they need. So if it's there's all different styles.
Right.
So, but I also go with really generic, neutral items because I want to appeal to a mass amount of people.
The more people, the
And
better. Yeah.
The more people, the better. A lot of times people that live in a house for a long time, they have their own style, and that's great. But I need to mix it up and make it more current and more up to date. Things that people are looking for, look for when they are buying a house. So, and that's the awkward and hard part to kind of wean people away from things that they're used to seeing in their house every day.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I 25 years in my house, I never saw all the things, the blemishes, the things are there until someone points them out to you and you say, oh, gee, I got to fix that. I got to change that. I got to.
You do. You become blind to
I got to
what's
paint
there.
this. I got to do this. So you really do. You're telling the people is that you got to get your house nice as best you can,
Right.
in order to sell it. And staging it is one component that we're hearing, obviously, today that makes a lot of sense for a whole lot of people, especially as the market gets tighter, don't you think, Alice?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think-
we're going to have. I mean, right now we say it's a seller's market on one side, on the lower end, it's a buyer's market and the luxury market. But I mean, overall, it's still going to come down to staging and what the house looks like and what condition it is, and that, right?
Yeah, and I think it makes a big difference as the market transitions. And Charlene and I remember during the crash, how important was that?
Extremely important, because people will go to other houses, and houses that are staged, they usually end up staying in there longer. The longer they can stay in a house, the better. You don't want
Right.
people running out of a house
During the
because
showing,
it's
yeah.
yes, during the showing.
Yeah.
And so you just want it to feel warm and inviting.
How should you stage a house to smell? I know that's an
That's a
odd
great
question,
question.
but I
Clean it like there's no tomorrow.
just clean it.
It's just, if you can't do it, if you don't have the time, I have lots of people that I can refer to you to have them come in and detail the house. If there's some weird smells, you can get an ozonator, plug that in, get the smells out. Because I will not go in and stage a house if it has a weird smell.
So you will, okay, so
Because
the
my-
smell is important.
Extremely. Smell,
Yeah.
everything. There's so many aspects to it.
I think the biggest turnoff that I've ever seen in 10 years of this is the smell of animal pee or animal waste or something in the house.
Yep.
That's the biggest turnoff I've
Yeah,
ever
worse
been
than
in. Isn't
cigarette
that's
smoke.
where,
Yeah.
and cigarettes is
Number
are
two.
close number two there. I
Yeah.
mean, those are the two. So you can get those. You can remediate
You
that a little
can,
bit.
yes.
It costs. I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, yes, everything
Yeah,
costs,
everything
but
costs.
it also is worth it. It's worth it if you want to sell your house for top
Yeah.
dollar.
Yeah.
So, for sure, shampoo the carpets.
Okay.
That would be right
When
away.
someone comes into stage, should I mean I've been in places where they've got potpourri biles or
That just
candles
kinda,
flowing.
yeah.
Tell me, is that something that people should do, or for?
Well, a lot of times it just masks the smell. It's still there.
Okay.
So really, you want to clean it like crazy. If you need to put fresh paint up, that's
Okay.
always a positive.
So you really recommend cleaning as part of the staging? I mean, this is all part of the same
Before
thing.
I come in and stage,
Before you come and
prep the
clean it all.
house big time before I come in, and
Yeah,
I give everyone tips on what to do
Okay.
before.
Some buyers are like bloodhounds. I mean, I'll just see their nose crinkle. I can't even smell it yet. I've got to really kind of focus. I guess my olfactory nerves are, but seriously, when they walk in a house, they're almost expecting, that
They
turn
want
off
to
of that, some kind of odor. And that's almost the first threshold they have to get through is not even visual, but you're right. If they don't get a good take there, they're going to see the nice staging or anything beyond that with a very good.
Yeah, some people don't even think of the smell. I mean, I do as I go into them, but it's a very important part. What you're saying, Charlene, it's a very important part. We got to deal with it too.
And if you have
Yeah.
potpourri, even if the house was clean, then the buyers worry because it is an item on their list. You're exactly right, Joe. They're specifically looking for what is wrong with the house. And one of the first things they do is take a big, deep breath
Yeah.
because they don't want to be in the dead of winter with the heater on and then find out that there's something going on in the house.
Yeah.
And if you have potpourri or you baked cookies, then instantly the buyers worry that you're hiding something, even if you weren't. So I love what she's saying. Just clean.
Just
no
clean it.
food. No potpourri. Plus,
Okay.
people have allergies.
Right,
People
right,
don't, and
yeah.
Febreze, please don't use
Yeah.
Febreze. They take a big breath of that. Some of them have such bad breathing problems they have to leave the house.
Ugh.
That's true.
And I've seen people now coming through different buyers who want carpets that are certain ways,
Or they don't want
walls,
carpets.
or they don't want carpets or flooring and this kind of thing as well. It's changing, isn't it? I mean,
It's
everything
changing.
about how we stage this. Just in the last hour we've been with Charlene, we've already changed how much we've changed in our view of that. So, and it's important. I think that's the thing that we kind of ignore this part of it sometimes, and we obviously not to, especially the sellers.
Yeah.
Sellers need to, especially as the market is changing. This is what Alice we keep saying is,
as it gets more
competitive, people are looking. The demand has not gone down. I think the demand is still there. It's now what is available and what stage is it in, what the condition is, and the price, right?
Yeah, because the buyers are very, very particular.
Yeah, all right. We got a break coming up here in a minute, and when we come back for our last segment, tips for, we're in our home now. What are the new kinds of products that are out there? What's the latest in color? I mean, I don't read fashion magazines or anything, and I don't pay no attention to it. But I hear Alice talk about colors and this, and you got different things out there. And how do we incorporate them into our sale? How can we use your services? And also, when we get back from it, the cost involved. I've always heard that staging is so expensive, it's not worth it. That's what I hear a lot of times. And I honestly do not know what even it would cost to do that. So just think about those wishes, Charlene, and share us when you come back, because it's a fascinating topic, and I think is what our listeners are going to find out. You ignore this at your own peril now, right? It changes my whole attitude of it.
Your competing sellers won't be ignoring it.
Don't ignore it, because you'll just lose in the end. The Real Estate Show continues here on KCMX News Media 880. Our final segment. We're coming right back after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate Show here on KCMX News Media 880. This last weekend of April. My goodness. March, April, and May are the three busiest real estate months of the year. We've already through two of them. Alice Lema, who's here with us here today. May is going to be it's busy.
It is. The interest rates are going up. People are worried.
Yeah. Charlene Phelps is here. She's a decorator and a stager that we've been listening to today, and getting some great tips about staging your home, getting it ready to sell, because we've learned it will sell faster and for more money, Charlene says, if you're staging them and doing it right. And it certainly makes sense to me. So appreciate that. What are the latest, in our last segment here, what are some of the new things that are out there that product-wise that people are using or you're using? Because you're kind of the trendsetter, I would say. You're going to find it first and put it in first. So what's out there that people might want to look at and put in their homes and staging things that are new today?
Well, some of the new colors are for sure the grays, the light grays.
Light gray.
Gray and white is really popular right now. If you are going to paint your house gray, though, I would suggest a light gray, or else talk to a stager or call me. I'll help you pick out a color.
You're talking about interior colors now, right?
Colors,
okay.
Even exterior colors.
Okay.
That's another thing I forgot to mention on the last clip is you want to start with the outside. I always start with the outside of your house.
Well, I was going to ask you that, too, about the outside.
Always.
Outside of that. Okay,
always.
yeah.
You want to make sure your lawn is just pristine. Your whole landscaping looks fabulous. Right now, there's lots of flowers.
Yeah.
So those are your friend right now.
It's beautiful. Well, like my yard is beautiful right now. It's green. It's gorgeous. It's pretty right now. It won't be that way later. But outside, curb appeal is what you're talking about, to make it look as best you can.
You want people to love your house so much they want to get inside.
Yeah. What are you finding about outdoor living? That's one of the top things that, Alice, we talk about that buyers are looking for is outdoor living spaces, outdoor areas. Is that something that you also kind of look at doing too?
I love to incorporate front porches. I love to have flowers at the front door. Yellow is great. It's a happy color.
Okay, yeah.
And for sure, patios are a big deal.
Okay.
People want to be outside enjoying the summer and the spring, and decorating the patio and the backyard. You don't want to forget the backyard.
Yeah.
Do the front yard for sure. And every day you want to go out there and just look at it and check it. Make sure, because weeds can come up overnight. So make sure everything looks perfect.
Yeah. I'm following that rule in my own place. So I go out every day. I wipe the things off. Constantly cleaning.
Cleaning.
Yeah, it's true.
Have somebody come pressure wash your sidewalk, your front porch, if need be. Paint your front door if it needs it.
Yeah.
If you have chipping paint, get that fixed before you put it on the market. Before those photos are on the market or on the internet. A lot of times people wait and they say, well, I'm going to put it on the market as is and just see how it goes. But that's a huge mistake.
All right. Would it be smart, Alice, for sellers, to contact someone like Charlene after they decide to sell it to go over these? I mean, you have the list in your mind. I mean, we can do it and say this, and this, but you bring more oomph to it, I think,
I
or
think
more
that should
credibility
be like the
to it.
second appointment.
It seems like you should be there right at the beginning of the whole process, because you have the ability to see things that, again, we can't see or we're not looking for, and that seems like it would make a big difference.
And it also reinforces what the realtor says. You know, it's another opinion. Charlene can go deeper and be more personal with their particular situation, their particular property. But yes, I think if Charlene can't go on the first appointment, she can go on the second.
Right, to be there to do that. Okay, that's really good. Now, just give us a price range of something of staging. I've heard all sorts of things, and I don't know, to be honest, what's true, what's not true, or what I should expect if I'm the consumer or even the realtor wanting your services of what that might roughly be. What can you say?
Well,
I'm not asking you for a price or anything.
It
but
all depends on the budget.
Okay.
But of course, it's between 1% and 3% usually of whatever the asking price is.
Okay.
Usually it's a lot less, because a lot of times I'll just do the main rooms.
Okay.
If that's what their budget allows. But the thing that's kind of interesting is people will not stage. If they don't stage, they don't think anything of reducing their price $10,000.
Right.
Whereas if at the beginning you could just put your best foot forward on your home, get it staged, make people fall in love with it, because that's what staging does. It makes them fall in love with your house, and then
quicker
so
I think
quicker.
That's the thing.
Every
I'm
time,
hearing.
the longer it's on the market, the more it can drop in price.
Right.
So if you can just start off staging, if people can start off staging, that's who has the most success.
Yeah. Well.
So.
Yeah, and do you think that's sellers come around to that a little bit? You think more over time?
I think so. I think it depends on their individual situation. Most sellers have a lot more equity now than they used to. Back during the downturn, it was much harder because people just didn't have the equity. But now they do. And when you think of 1% to 3% and start doing price reductions because you're in day 61 instead of day 6, it makes a big difference.
And that $10,000 price reduction is more than the 1% that it would have cost maybe to have it staged.
And if it stays on the market too long, then it's not just $10,000. It could end up being $25,000.
Yeah.
I've seen people go 50,000, and it's just
And we're in a
It's sad.
seasonal market. Is the other thing. I mean, we do sell houses all year round, but this is the time where we sell the most. So if you're thinking about selling, then you definitely want to put your best foot forward, as Charlene says.
And spring is the time to do it. It's beautiful. Your places are more they're just beautiful, and you have the ability to come in and transform them even as you transition out. I think that's the key to it, because again, your family, the sellers, you're leaving. Your mind is not set on decluttering maybe over here, but I want to do something else. But you would come in and be able to help that. So around 1% or up to that, again by the budget. But you can work with people on that. I guess that's how that business works, isn't it? That's good to know. It's interesting. I don't know a lot about it, but I've sure learned a lot today, and I appreciate that. I think our listeners do too, because don't do it yourself, right? I mean, if you really want to sell it, you got to do this.
And if people want me to, I can go and do a consultation, and I can help them do it themselves if they want.
Okay.
But there's lots of options out there. But
and you're busy. It's
something.
interesting is that you're so busy. You've got that much business
busy.
going on for you, and well, that's good. I mean, the economy. This is another part of the real estate industry that is quite active, obviously,
And as the market slows down, stabilizes, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be more competitive. And it's a great thing to have your house look good and smell good.
Look good.
And smell good. And sell quickly.
And you can stage
for the most money.
Right. And you can stage a room. You can do the whole
house. It's easier to keep clean, too. If you're living in a house that's staged, it's less fuss.
I agree.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's also a lot less stressful, because when you get ready to move, everything's boxed up, all the clutter's gone, and you can enjoy your house while it's being staged.
Well, I'm exactly the boat that you're in. Seriously, I mean, Alice, my house is for sale. I got on the market. I've got it staged as best as I can. I should have Charlene come and look
I'll
again.
give you my card.
But it's all there. But yes, it is. I've not been stressed by it, because everything is so clean. It's easy to keep it up now that I've got it to a certain point. The yard, all those things are all out there. And yes, as a seller now, like I'm a seller, you go through these things as you want it to look as pretty as you can.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, otherwise, we just roll and waste everybody's time, or it will just take longer to sell for less price.
Right. And
we
Charlene will come and get the stuff because it's her stuff.
Yeah, you deliver it and pick it up, right? And do the whole
I
thing.
can do that too. Yeah.
Charlene, how can someone find you, by the way, if they want to get a hold of you?
Oh, well, I guess they could call my phone number.
Just have a phone number. Okay, well, give it to us. What is it then?
541-601-1329.
601-1329.
Yes.
Charlene Phelps, decorator, stager. Thank you so much for being here. We're out of time. Alice as well. Thank you for coming along and
It's
bringing
awesome,
Charlotte.
as always.
We learned a lot today on the Real Estate Show. Hope you did
Bye.
too. Staging, decorating. Let somebody help you do it. You're going to be better off in the end. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week here on the Real Estate Show. God bless you all. We'll talk to you next weekend.